Hello, how are you? I thought I'd do a video because I am feeling a bit guilty about the lack of content I've been giving you recently. I'm really sorry, it's been a bit of a crazy couple of weeks, just everything's been a bit up in the air and busy, but so I thought I'd say hello. Another apology, typical me. Sorry about the noise, just put the dishwasher on and now it's kicked in. Anyway, I just wanted to talk to you and say hello and see how you are. I've been reading a lot about feelings and emotions recently on a few of the special needs pages that I'm on, and I thought that'd be quite a cool topic to discuss with you. I think it's fair to say, as a parent of a special needs child, you experience quite colossal highs and lows and everything in between, the exhaustion, the happiness and utter despair that I obviously have told you all about. The confusion, I think that's a very frequent emotion when you have a child with special needs. I started right from the beginning, but I remember, when Jude was about to go to school, I remember being told on the phone by a lady at the council to literally pick a school there and then. Jude had been turned down for a special needs place for his reception year. So they said that because it was so near the summer, I had to literally tell her which school I wanted him to go to. I'm not sure how you can be put on the spot like that, but thankfully we were living in an area that I knew, so I was able just to pick a school out of the hat. It wasn't probably, I think it was probably the best choice at the time. He had some wonderful learning support assistants. Obviously it wasn't the right school, but we had to go through that. But yeah, the whole confusion of choosing schools and I guess the confusion of yourself, of your own parenting skills. When Jude was really little, I had a lot of confusion about my parenting skills and whether I was good enough. I wasn't very thick-skinned. I was still young. I was only 25 when I had Jude, just turned 25. I hated going into social situations with him. I found it really awkward. He looked like your typical toddler. And when he was very young, I could, get away with just saying he was tired or something if he wasn't doing what everyone else was doing. But it was quite, upsetting at times, and I guess I had a lot of confusion about whether anything I'd done had led to his disabilities, the confusion around how to, work out these situations for the best of everybody's needs. What other emotions you have? Guilt. I probably write about that the most, don't I? I think people talk about mother's guilt, but I think special needs parent guilt is definitely up there too. Maybe that's just me. I have a lot of guilt about why Jude has disabilities. I think that still haunts me a little now. He had brain scans when he was a baby. We had a lot of conversations about family genetics. Nothing was obvious. So it was just left as being one of those things. So then I started questioning whether it was something I did in my pregnancy or didn't do in my pregnancy. Did I, I don't know, was it something I did when he was first born? That guilt, I think, lives on with you unless you have some sort of hard and fast answer. But even then you probably feel guilty because, you grew the baby. Again, the guilt about the schools you choose for your child. Like I said, I felt guilty that Jude couldn't go to the school I wanted him to go to when he was in reception. I struggled also when he eventually did go to special needs school. And he had a lot of issues. It was a fantastic school, really lovely school. But he did have some troubles, and I often wondered whether that was down to me as a rubbish parent, or was I not supporting him enough, or let's not even get onto the whole guilt of sending him to residential school, because that guilt, I think, whenever people ask me what school he goes to now, I do kind of take a bit of a breath before I say where his school is, because then I get asked, oh, do you drive all that way? And I'm like, no. He stays there, and I wait for the reaction. And why should I do that? I've picked the best school for my child. No one knows about, your individual situation, but I still have that guilt because, I've been told in the past, well, you're just pushing Jude away, you're sending him away. I don't want the trouble with him. I got told that. I still get told it, but I know deep down that's not true. And then another emotion that springs from that guilt is, absolute joy and pride in how well Jude is doing. And, we've survived. In a couple of weeks, it'll be 12 years, and we have found him the most amazing school. I feel proud that he is doing so well there, and he's so happy. He's made some wonderful friends with his support workers. He sees them as friends. I swear he just thinks they're all having a big sleepover at his house. And he's just so happy, and that's all I want for him, really. I want him to be happy. I think it's an unquestionable, unique feeling being a special needs parent. But it's a funny one. I feel very proud of Jude at the moment, of how he's doing at school. He's been out a couple of times with his support staff to the shops, which for him is a massive thing. Again, that sometimes feels a bit weird saying you're proud of that when it seems like a pretty small milestone. And you go out sometimes, and those moments you have where Jude behaves in such a way that no one notices disabilities, or if they notice them, they see them in a really positive way, and it's so amazing to feel like all the other families are around you, that like you just feel normal. And I'm not putting that on Jude in any way. I don't mean normal in him. I just mean how I feel normal, like a normal parent. I think it's important for people to admit that and accept that when you've got a special needs child, sometimes you don't feel, well, a lot of the time you don't feel like all the other parents, because you don't do the things that they do. And it's not a bad thing to have these emotions. I think you have to be pretty robotic to go through life with a child like Jude, and not to be tainted in some way by your experiences, but also the good things, like I've told you before about people that have stopped in the street to have a chat with him, and people that have made you feel good about Jude, and made Jude feel good about being Jude, because he's a really wonderful little kid. And I think we've still got a long way to go before being different is accepted. Even his old special needs school, the one we were only at for a very short time, they made him feel so awful, and from that his behaviour was horrific, because obviously that's what he thought was expected of him, and so he behaved like that. But I remember the good. I'm affected by the good, and more so than the bad. And I think that's kind of what drives you on when you're a mum like I am, of a special needs child. But I know everyone does different things, and everyone copes differently. How do you cope with your feelings? I'd love to hear about things that you do and things you've experienced. And do you have someone to talk to, or you probably all cope better than me, because quite clearly, as I've expressed many a time, I don't cope particularly wonderfully at times. I guess everyone does their best, but I'd absolutely love to hear, what you do and what you've experienced. And don't be afraid of feeling how you feel. There's nothing wrong with, feeling sad or elated, or for the most minute things. So I'd love to hear what they are. And anyway, so yeah, thank you for listening. And if you wonder what I'm sitting next to, it's the fire that's actually going out, because I'm cold. It's freezing. I've got to go out in a minute. Anyway, it's lovely to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you all. And have a nice evening and stay warm. See you soon. Bye.